I couldn't help but reflect on how the third woman on stage, Oprah Winfrey, tied to Mississippi by birth, got to change the world not by dying, but by living, though she knew that her living owed a debt to you and Medgar. By having your mother and Merle on that set, she got to pay homage to her roots and to offer you another platform to speak 35 years after we never heard from you again. I often wonder how your voice sounded, what others heard as you played at school or gave book reports in class, or what your voice would have sounded like as you matured and spoke up in Bible study or testified at prayer meetings in church. You have spoken to the ages, and yet we have been denied your voice. It is weird to know you without ever getting to know you as a saint of sorts while not truly knowing the depth of a courage so stubborn that even your killers testified to it. I can only imagine the flush of fearlessness in a face so young, even as mortal peril loomed. You refused to believe that these soulless goons were driving you to your death. And then after they did their evil and washed their hands of the entire affair, in a court built for kangaroos and malignant liars, they seemed to get away with murder. But what they couldn't imagine is that their determination to silence your voice actually amplified the sound of a young preacher in Montgomery, Alabama, who spoke of you often, arguing that even though your death was caused by, quote, two cruel men, the ultimate responsibility for this and other tragic events must rest with the American people themselves, end of quote. I wish I could say that your death changed things forever. But here we are, my brave young soldier of light, caught in the madness of hate once again. Long before your death, and so many times since then, we have pledged to reckon with the racial calamity at the heart of our democracy. And too many times we have reneged on that promise and failed to embrace our best racial future. As I write, the cities of our country are burning once again because of Black death. A vicious virus is stalking the globe, a disease that sadly, predictably, has attacked Black flesh with tragic specificity. The pandemic has thrust us into the vortex of Black vulnerability. In America, the coronavirus has exposed ugly truths that are far from novel. They are, in fact, part of the barely acknowledged pre-existing condition of racial oppression. The abysmal lack of access to health care for our poorest people means that Black and brown folks suffer higher rates and harsher consequences of heart disease, diabetes, and asthma, and are far more likely to be exposed to the virus in the work they do. Black and brown folk, paradoxically enough, stock the front lines of healthcare, and that, along with ringing cash registers and delivering food, greatly increases their susceptibility to COVID-19. Beyond the mathematical averages that sum up their vulnerability, Black and brown suffering is far greater and bleaker. They are more likely to die from the deadly virus. But the death I am speaking of here, dear Emmett, comes at the hands of white vigilantes, and for the umpteenth time, at the hands of murderous cops. When America watched the video recording of policeman Derek Chauvin callously resting his knee and the full weight of his body on Minneapolis motorist George Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes, suffocating him, we were reminded that we were facing a dual pandemic united by one desperate cry: I can't breathe. In Minnesota, it was recorded again for the world to see. And for the first time, many of our white fellow citizens have seen it too. Dear Emmett, I must speak directly to our white brothers and sisters. So many of you, my white friends, have said that you now see what we have been saying all along is true. But take a moment to let what we have seen for centuries sink in. Please understand that there is a great deal more heartbreak and tumult that you haven't seen behind what you are now finally beginning to see. Sight requires imagination. Imagination makes what we see make sense. Consider these videos, visual autopsies of the slow death of justice. Can you imagine how we feel when we see the moving pictures of yet another one of our people slaughtered in the streets? We speak in our day of triggers, moments that crystallize trauma, flood time with memory.